Hey guys, it's Riley and I'm here with a new video for you guys. So today the video, if you couldn't already tell by the title, is going to be an all about foundation video. So talking to people at work and clients and then also, at school, and the questions that I get most asked about is usually about foundation. People don't know what to use, people don't know what foundations to try, their makeup doesn't stay, all of the problems that can go wrong with foundation. So I figured why not kind of go through all of the foundations that I own and that I love. I feel like the most asked question I get at work or just in general is what foundation are you wearing, or how do you get your skin to look the way it does? And by no means is it easy to make your skin look really nice and smooth. It does take a lot of work, and it did take me a really long time to get my skin to where it is now. So all the foundations that I'm going to be showing you in this video are going to be ones that work really well with my skin type, which is, again, normal to combination. And I do have lots of foundations that I feel like will look awesome and work amazingly with dry skin or with oily skin. So it's kind of, all of these foundations can be used on any skin type. It honestly does just depend on what primer you're using and if you're doing skincare correctly. But I do have tons of foundations that I want to share with you guys, so that way it can help you decide on a foundation that works for you, and also help with, any questions you have about certain brands or certain foundations, or what type of foundation you should be using compared to what foundation you're using now. So if you want to learn about some of the foundations that I have, then please keep watching and we'll go ahead and get started. So first off, skincare is key. If you want your makeup to look good, your foundation to look flawless, you need to start skincare. It doesn't matter if you have a $165 foundation. If your skin is not up to par and does not look good, then there's no way that foundation is going to look good on your skin. So you need to start exfoliating, start moisturizing, start cleansing your face every day, and start toning, so that way your skin is just going to be perfect and super smooth. If you don't do that, this makeup nothing is going to work for you. And I feel like that's what most people have issues with, is they feel like they should buy the most expensive foundation or a foundation that somebody else is using. But if their skin does not look good and is not healthy, the foundation isn't going to look good on them. So my biggest suggestion to anybody out there that is looking for a foundation and wants to get that really nice, smooth Instagram, really good makeup look, start with skincare. By the way, I do have combination skin, so I tend to get super oily in my T-zone area, and then I'm a little bit drier on the outer edges of my face. And when I'm not super oily, like in the winter now, I like to lean more on the dry side, so I do a lot of stuff to help with dryness. As you can see, I kind of have a little breakout right here. I always break out super bad when I'm on my period or right around that time of the month. So I am breaking out right now, but I have foundations to kind of show you what I use when I'm breaking out the most. And okay, so I'm going to start with all of my foundations that I think are the best for dry skin. So if you have dry skin, these foundations are going to work the best with your skin, so that way you don't look dry and cakey or anything like that. It's just gonna leave your skin super smooth and glowy. Okay, so for whenever my skin feels super dry, I always lean towards this foundation. This is my all-time favorite foundation, my favorite brand. Anything from this brand I absolutely love. So this is the NARS Sheer Glow Foundation. This claims to be like a sheer to medium coverage. I feel like if you don't have a ton to cover, this is like a full coverage foundation. I can use it and make my skin look like this, and it's amazing. So I love this one. I do especially prefer it when my skin is dry, because it does have a little bit more of that dew, because it is a little bit more dewy, so it does help with the dryness and any like cakiness. So I absolutely love this. NARS does tend to lean a little bit more yellow. They do have a few shades that are pink and a little bit more pink undertone, but they are super yellow. And if you are super fair and tend to run a little bit more on the pink side, NARS is not going to be a good option for you. But if you are anywhere from, like light medium to deep, these foundations are absolutely amazing. I 10 out of 10 recommend this to anybody. I love them. They're awesome. By MAC, and this is the Pro Longwear Nourishing Waterproof Foundation. So this one is a long wear, full coverage, kind of hydrating foundation, which I absolutely love. You only need a little bit of it, but it does go a long way. Again, amazing for dry skin because it's not gonna make you look cakey or dry or, you know, flaky or anything. It's just gonna keep your skin really nice and dewy and smooth and hydrated looking. So I absolutely love this one. So the next foundation that I love for drier skin is the Luminous Silk Foundation by Giorgio Armani. Love this one again because it has that dewy finish to it. It has a really nice coverage. I don't feel like it's a super thick coverage or full coverage. It can definitely be a medium. You can build it up if you do not want that super full coverage. This is a very nice foundation. It looks really natural on the skin, and it does not leave you looking cakey at all. It just leaves you looking really natural and glowy, which is what I really love about this foundation. Whenever I'm like in the summer, I wore this a ton. I just threw it on and went out because it wasn't heavy and it just made my skin look perfected and gave me some color. So I do love this foundation. Giorgio Armani also has a really nice range of shades, again with a little bit more of a warm, cool, and like neutral tone to some of their foundations. So I love that they have a lot of different options for different skin shades and stuff like that. The next foundation that I really like for more leaning on the dry side is the Lancome Tint Idle Ultra 24-Hour Makeup. I love this one again because it has that natural finish. It's a 24-hour wear foundation, so it's a really long wear foundation, which is awesome. It's something that I love about this one. None of the other foundations that I have shown you so far have claimed to be like a long wear foundation. So if you're looking for a foundation that's long wear and that's not going to leave you looking dry or cakey or anything like that, with a kind of a dewy natural finish, the Lancome one is perfect for that because it's going to give you enough dewiness and enough natural finish without making you look dry and cakey, but it's also going to stay on all day and look amazing all day. So the Lancome foundation also has a great, amazing range of shades, from cool tones to neutral to warm tones, and also from the fairest of the fair to the deepest of the deep. So I absolutely love that Lancome has that big of a range of shades. So if you want a little bit more of a dewy finish and also fuller coverage than like a liquid would give you, this one is awesome. I love this one 20 times better than just the normal liquid by Makeup Forever. This one is awesome to die for. I love it because it gives such a creamy finish and such a flawless finish too, especially with my dry skin. I don't find that my skin gets dry or cakey or anything, so this does have a little bit more of that cream and oiliness to the stick. If you're oily, I probably would not recommend this to you. I do find that I have to mix this guy and my All Day Luminous together to get the perfect foundation to last all day and just to look amazing. So these by far are my favorite foundations to mix together, and I would happily take these ones for the rest of my life. Next foundation that I want to talk about is the Clinique Beyond Perfecting Foundation and Concealer, and this is the 2-in-1. So this one reminds me a lot of the Milani foundation. Just a little bit more dewy, I would say. I do actually kind of prefer the Milani one just a little bit more. I feel like the Milani one is a little bit better for oily skin, and this one is a little bit better for the more dry or sensitive skin. A few cheaper alternatives that I do really like. The first one is the True Match Lumi Healthy Luminous Makeup. So I do not recommend this to anybody that has oily skin. So if you have oily skin, I would not go anywhere near this. Because I do find I get super oily with this, even though you want that dewiness. Me being combination, I tend to get a little bit more oily than I normally do with this foundation. I don't know if it's just because it's a drugstore foundation or what. My second favorite foundation that I love to mix with my All Day Luminous is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Stick. This has a medium coverage, which I really like. It's a nice natural finish. Again, reminds me a lot of the Sheer Glow or even the All Day Luminous by NARS, but this is a awesome foundation for someone that wants just a really nice natural glow again. This is going to have a little bit less coverage than the other ones that I had showed you, but I do like this one again for when I'm feeling a little bit more dry and not as oily or like sweaty or anything like that. And then the next foundation is by Kiko Milano, and I have been loving this foundation lately because my skin has been super dry since I got back to Michigan. So this is just a hydrating foundation. That's what it says right on the bottle. It's super, super hydrating. It feels light. It feels like a tinted moisturizer. It feels awesome on the skin. So if you feel like you are super dry and you can't find anything that makes your skin not look cakey, go with this guy. And especially if you're more of a normal to combination, maybe normal to dry, this foundation is awesome for that complexion because it's going to give you enough dewiness. And then this is so pretty. It gives you such a good coverage. It's amazing. This is like $14, I think. Love this foundation and it's amazing. The shade range isn't the greatest because it is more of a drugstore brand. You can't get it at the drugstore, but it's priced like a drugstore brand. So if you are looking for something a little bit more affordable that has really nice hydration for dry skin, this one is awesome. So, so, so good. Highly recommend it. Drugstore foundation that I'm going to talk about is the Dewy and Smooth by Maybelline. So again, if you are balling on a budget, this one is awesome because it gives you a really nice, it gives your face a really nice smooth look. Again, it gives you a lot of dewiness. I don't think this is a fuller coverage foundation. It's probably more like a medium to full, so I wouldn't say it's a full coverage and you're going to get that full coverage right away. I do think you need to build it up a little bit. But for the price, this is an awesome foundation. Again, they do have a really nice range of shades. If you are more sensitive and you find that your skin breaks out a little bit easier, I would probably stay away from any of the drugstore foundations like Maybelline or L'Oreal, just because they do have a lot of fillers inside of their formulations and that can cause lots of breakouts and sensitivity to the skin. So although this is an awesome foundation, if you are more sensitive to drugstore brands, I would probably stick away from something like this and go with like the Lancome, because the Lancome is going to be a little bit easier on the skin. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to the foundations that I love when I'm feeling a little bit more oily. Again, all of these foundations can be used on a normal to combination skin because my skin is combination. But I did want to show you the foundations that lean more towards my dry side and then the ones that I use that lean more towards my oily side, just so you guys can kind of figure out what you like and what you feel like would be the best. My all-time favorite foundation for oily skin and when I'm feeling a little bit more oily is the NARS All Day Luminous. This is an oil-free foundation and it's super lightweight so it doesn't feel heavy or thick on the skin. If you are extremely oily and are not planning on using a primer, this is not really going to work for you. You have to use a mattifying primer with this one because it does kind of move if you're sweating a lot because it has a slight dewy finish to it. It's not super dewy and it's also not super matte, but it's right in between. And if you do not have a mattifying primer, this guy is not going to work for you. But again, this is my all-time favorite foundation. If I had one foundation to pick, it would be this one, and I would be completely content with it because it's awesome. Again, the shade range isn't as great as I would like it to be for fair skin tones, but from light to medium to deep skin tones, this foundation is awesome. The next foundation is the Marc Jacobs foundation. So this is a full coverage foundation. This is like straight pigment. So if you have lots of acne scarring or you really like that full coverage foundation, this is amazing. This will cover anything. Doesn't leave you super dry and cakey if you're doing, you know, good things to your skin. If you're moisturizing a lot and using like a really nice oil-free primer, this is amazing for oily skin and also dry skin. For dry skin, I would recommend using a hydrating primer, and then for oily skin, I would recommend using a smoothing or a mattifying primer, so that way that it doesn't move or anything like that. This is a long wear foundation. It does not go anywhere. It looks the exact same from the morning to the night. It's awesome. Probably, again, one of my favorite foundations for when I'm feeling more oily. I love this thing. If I ever have to go out to like a concert or anything like that, or I'm going to be out dancing, this is what I'm going to choose because it's such a long wear full coverage foundation. It is a little bit more pricey. It's right around like $55, I believe, but it's well worth the price. The tiniest bit goes the longest way, and you will not be disappointed in this foundation. It's amazing. Now I'm going to talk about the Urban Decay All Nighter Foundation. So this foundation is awesome if you want a full coverage natural matte look. I do find that this one Looks amazing being put on with a brush. It does oxidize, so if you're picking out a shade, I would recommend putting it on your face or your hand and walking around the store or wherever you're at for a little bit and waiting for it to oxidize, because it does oxidize pretty dark. But once you find that shade that's perfect for you, it gives you the prettiest matte look, like full coverage, matte, poreless, perfect skin. But it also does not make you look like you are super caked up or have a ton of makeup on. I feel like it gives you a really nice natural matte look. I think the shade range for this line is absolutely amazing. I don't like that it oxidizes, but like I said, once you find that shade that you really like, it's amazing. So if you are someone that is looking for an all-day matte long wear foundation, I would highly recommend the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation. This one does not go anywhere. I swear this stuff is like melted to your face once you put it on. I've done my makeup in the morning and then been out all night and been running around and sweating, and the stuff does not go anywhere. And I do tend to get little spots up above on my forehead that kind of disintegrate or go away. And this does not do that with this. I love the way this looks. It looks flawless. The entire shade range, again, is awesome. You do have to get this from like a Macy's or a Nordstrom or something like that if you live where I live in Michigan, because there's not an Estee Lauder super close to us in like a Sephora or anything like that, or you will have to order online. So I do love this foundation, and I love, love, love the way it lasts. So if you're looking for a long wear matte foundation for oily skin, definitely highly recommend this. Again, the next foundation that I'm going to talk about is the MAC Studio Fix Fluid. This is a completely matte foundation with a full coverage. I love this one, again, for going out if you really want a full coverage, long-lasting matte foundation look. Awesome for oily skin again. Still would recommend a primer, but it is awesome. It lasts forever. I used to go to Palm in this, and literally it would be completely perfect by the end. It didn't go anywhere. So this foundation is awesome and super long lasting, so I do really recommend this, and I do love this guy. Now I want to talk about the Becca Ultimate Coverage Complexion Cream. So this is good for any skin type, if you're oily, dry, combination, normal, whatever it is, it's awesome for that. It has more of a natural finish, so it's not super matte and it's also not super dry. This does remind me of the Kat Von D foundation. Just how thick it feels. If you like kind of feeling the coverage and feeling a little bit thicker so you know everything is covered, this guy I think is awesome for that. I'm someone who doesn't like super heavy, thick foundations on my face, so this is not particularly my favorite, but it does look amazing on the skin, especially if you have a deeper complexion. It looks absolutely amazing, completely flawless. Same with the Urban Decay All Nighter Foundation. Putting this on deeper complexion girls it looks amazing. Like, it's so beautiful. Again, the shade range is amazing for this, and it does wear a really long time as well. The next foundation is the Cover FX Custom Cover Drops. So this would be a perfect product for someone who kind of wants a foundation that can do multiple things. My favorite thing to do with this is to mix it in with some moisturizer and give it a tint, so that way I have some coverage, but it's not like I'm wearing a full foundation. If you're someone who wants just a really light coverage, this is awesome, because the less you use, the less the coverage is, and the more you use, the more the coverage is. This does give an awesome, super beautiful, super beautiful like coverage to it, and it also does multiple things. You can mix it in with different foundations if you want to change the shade. You can also mix it in with a moisturizer, like I was saying, to create a tinted moisturizer. You can do all kinds of things with this, and I love that about this. So if you want something that's pretty versatile with what you can do with it, this is probably your best option. I want to talk about some drugstore foundations, and this is the Maybelline Fit Me foundation. The matte and poreless, I love this one a lot more than the dewy and smooth. I just like the way this one finishes. I do feel like their shades are a little bit more on the red side, or like pink side. I like more of that warmth, and I feel like these do come out a little bit more red. But they do have a great, shade range, which is awesome. This one does leave you super matte and super like poreless. It literally does what it says, which is awesome. I still use a primer with this because I do think you need a primer. But I love this guy because it does last a really, really long time as well. Especially if you set it and use like a setting spray, it will not go anywhere. This is again a awesome foundation if you are balling on a budget. So now the next foundation is by far my favorite foundation from the drugstore that you can actually get, you know, from the drugstore. The Milani foundations are like my favorite now. I will probably never ever love a foundation from the drugstore. I like that cheap. More than I love these ones, but this one you can get from like CVS. So this is the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation. Absolutely love this one. It's amazing. I feel like it does have that natural finish again, so that way it's not super matte and it's also not super dewy. You can also powder up and it'll give you more of that matte finish. Then the Kiko Milano Skin Modernistic 2-in-1 foundation and concealer is my favorite out of the 3 that I do like a 2-in-1. This one is like the perfect matte but semi-matte, I guess, like demi. Awesome coverage, literally smooth so much. This one is discontinued, which is literally like the worst news ever. I should have bought like 5 more when I was, you know, away, but love this foundation. It does have the same little applicator that the Clinique one has, so they are like almost the same thing, but again, I do prefer this guy. I do think this one is the best for combination skin. If you have more combination than dry or oily, or you're more normal, this is the best for like normal combination skin. I think the Clinique one is the best for drier skin, and then the Milani one is the best for oily skin. And if you liked this type of video and if you thought this helped and was helpful to you, give me a thumbs up so I know that this was actually helpful to you, and then I could do a primer video and also like a skincare video if that's what you guys would like. So make sure you give me a thumbs up so I get that feedback from you. But if you have any questions on certain foundations or certain, you know, things to do with your skin, leave them down in the comments down below. Again, I am a cosmetologist school, so I do learn quite a bit about skincare and stuff like that. So make sure if you have any questions or need like any advice, leave them down in the comments down below, and I will get back to you. Subscribe and share this video so other people can watch my tutorials. I'll have some new stuff out shortly, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!